A tanker idles off the coast of Venezuela, its hull heavy with crude oil. Onshore, pipelines snake through the Orinoco belt, home to the world's largest proven oil reserves, and estimated at over 300 billion barrels as of 2023. The sheer scale is hard to overstate, more oil than Saudi Arabia, more than Iran or Russia. Much of South America commands such persistent high-stakes attention from Washington and beyond, especially recently. The terrain itself sets the stage. Venezuela's reserves are concentrated in the Orinoco heavy oil belt, a swath running parallel to the Orinoco River, with fields like Hugo Chavez and Cunin stretching for hundreds of kilometers. The region's infrastructure like upgraders, refineries, and export terminals at Jose and Puerto La Cruz links the interior to the Caribbean Sea, just 3 days sail from US Gulf Coast refineries. Proximity compresses logistics. A tanker from Venezuela can reach Houston in under 72 hours, compared to over 2 weeks from the Persian Gulf. But obviously, it's not just about distance. Venezuela's oil is extra heavy, requiring specialized blending and upgrading facilities. Coast refineries are uniquely configured for this crude, a legacy of decades-long trade. In 2017, Venezuela supplied roughly 500,000 barrels per day to the US, a figure that plummeted after sanctions, but the technical interdependence remains. Chinese and Indian firms have invested in Venezuela's upstream sector, seeking to lock in supply and diversify away from Middle Eastern risk. So how does this shape the leverage now? For the US, Venezuela's reserves represent both a strategic buffer and a vulnerability at the same time. In a world where energy security is measured in days of supply, the ability to deny or enable access to such a vast resource is a form of geopolitical currency. PDVSA, which is Venezuela's state oil company, freezing assets and blocking US firms from buying Venezuelan crude oil. The result was a collapse in output from over 2 million barrels per day in 2017 to under 800,000 by 2021, with ripple effects across global markets. That said, sanctions have not erased Venezuela's oil from the map. They simply just shifted across the map now. Tankers now reroute to Asia, often via ship-to-ship transfers off the coast of Malaysia or through opaque barter deals. Chinese refiners in particular have become key buyers, sometimes blending Venezuela's crude with other grades to mask its origin. This circumvents formal embargoes and keeps cash flowing to Caracas even as official exports to the US have all but vanished. Meanwhile, Russia and Iran have stepped in, providing technical support, credit lines, and swap arrangements to keep Venezuelan production afloat. Taken stakes in Orinoco projects, while Iranian tankers deliver condensate to dilute Venezuela's crude oil, enabling exports to continue. These partnerships complicate US efforts to isolate Venezuela and create new axes of influence in the Western Hemisphere. So by any measure, this changes the calculus globally, because control over Venezuela's reserves is not just about barrels and dollars, it's about who sets the terms of access, and who can disrupt flows, also who can leverage energy as a tool of statecraft. The US obviously seeks to maintain its influence in the hemisphere, deter rivals, and prevent adversaries like Russia and China from gaining a foothold near its shores. For China and Russia, Venezuela offers a rare opportunity to project power in America's backyard and secure long-term energy contracts insulated from US pressure. Now, if we zoom out, the stakes are amplified by global energy transitions. As major economies pledge to reduce fossil fuel use, the timeline for monetizing reserves shortens now. Venezuela, with its vast but technically challenging oil, faces a race against obsolescence. Yet, as long as oil remains central to industrial economies, the Orinoco Belt retains a strategic allure. And as you know, this is not a moral judgment, it's an analysis of incentives and logistics. Because geography, infrastructure, and refinery configurations binds Venezuela's oil to global power politics, shaping decisions in Washington, Beijing, and Moscow alike. In the end, the strategic prize is not just the oil itself, but the ability to grant or deny access to it, an enduring lever in the contest for influence across the Americas and beyond. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe for more.